Once the face of American mornings, Matt Lauer was a reliable news anchor. However, following startling accusations of wrongdoing and unsettling tales involving NBC co-workers, his ascent became a notorious decline in popularity. It was the Matt I knew. Was Matt's side that I believe you were all aware of. He was a good colleague who was considerate, polite, and generous. The influence of the events has peaked years later. The next statement is not only unexpected, but it also marks the end of the chapter. An impoverished beginning. On December 30, 1957, Matt Lauer was born in New York City, marking the beginning of his story. His early life was influenced by both ambition and business. Marilyn, his mother, ran a shop and infused her work with originality and a personal touch, while Executive Robert Lauer worked for a bicycle firm and was heavily involved in the business sector. The combination of Matt's corporate expertise and local entrepreneurship had a subtle impact on his future media career. Matt's early years were a patchwork of experiences, characterized by both difficulties and stability. He was not brought up in any specific religious tradition, despite the fact that his father was of Romanian Jewish descent. As Matt reflected on marriage and family life, he would eventually show an interest in learning more about spirituality. Westchester County, New York, offered a wide array of lifestyles. Matt was exposed to both urban and suburban settings, commuting between Hartsdale and Chappaqua, etc. He was exposed to a variety of backgrounds due to this continuous change, which would eventually deepen his reporting style. His ability to adjust and welcome change was a trait that served him well in his professional life. Being the neighbor of Tom Carvel, the creator of the well-known ice cream chain, was a memorable aspect of Matt's early years. It was the kind of oddball local detail that used to make his childhood even more exciting. One thing, Matt's desire to learn about the world and share its tales, stayed the same throughout all the changes and would define his future in journalism. There are many fascinating memories from Matt Lauer's early years. One that was particularly noteworthy was sharing a home with renowned ice cream tycoon Tom Carvel. Carvel's truck was a commonplace for Matt to play and dine. The flying saucers are frozen. In Westchester County, New York, Matt and his sister went to separate local schools during their childhood. The frequent relocation and novel encounters influenced his eventual identity. Matt enrolled in Ohio University's Scripps College of Communication after graduating from high school. It was vital that he was there. It set him up for success in journalism and the media. But Matt made a risky decision in 1979, right before he finished his degree. He quit college to pursue a career in television. He accepted a position as an intern at WOWK-TV, a station that shows Kentucky, West Virginia, and Ohio. His broadcasting career officially began with this. With his job at WOWK-TV, Matt gained practical experience. He gained practical experience and comprehended the demands of journalism. This early work helped him develop his skills and taught him important lessons. He felt as though something was lacking even as his career took off. In order to complete his work, Matt went back to Ohio University in 1997. He finished his degree when he was 39. It was a pivotal occasion for him, demonstrating that even after his success, education remained a top focus. He frequently discussed how his perspective on media and communication was influenced by his academic years and how they were essential to his professional success. Matt was ready for the next big step now that he had earned his degree and had experience. His career as a news anchor was a result of this. Would his dedication and enthusiasm allow him to land the ideal job he had always desired? Early professional life. Matt's future in news was paved with his internship. He advanced swiftly from his position at WOWK-TV in Huntington, West Virginia. He first worked as a producer before joining the nightly news as an on-air reporter. His job advancement was facilitated by these early experiences. Soon after, Matt was hired by local stations, such as WNEW-TV. Throughout the East Coast, he traveled, providing a variety of informational programs and chat shows. In Richmond, for example, he co-hosted Public Management magazine. However, in 1986, Matt and co-host Jill Rappaport took up a new show at WNYW called Made in New York when Public Management magazine was fired. This resulted in Matt's initial national recognition. Fame, ABC's afternoon program, was co-hosted by him and Robin Leach. Lifestyles of the rich and famous spin-off, Fortune and Romance. Back in New York City in 1989, they hosted WER's 9 Broadcast Plaza. His reputation and career were enhanced by the 3-hour live performance. In the years that followed, Matt's reputation grew even more. He hosted a number of programs and even had appearances in films. In 1990, he was selected to host Day in Court, a pilot produced by David Sams, who had assisted in the beginning of The Oprah Winfrey Show. His career then took a significant turn in 1992. He would become a household name as a result of this new chapter. Employment with the National Broadcasting Corporation. Joining NBC in 1992 was a sea change in Matt's career. He joined the flagship station of the network as a co-anchor for Today in New York. His journalistic style and talents soon made him a household name in homes all over the nation. By 1993, Matt had moved into a new position. With Sue Simmons, he co-anchored Live at 5. After a year, he decided to concentrate just on the evening news, and he continued to host Live at 5 until 1996. As Matt's fame grew, NBC offered him more possibilities. He contributed as a newsreader for the Today Show from 1992 to 1993. As a result of his publicity, he was able to land a full-time position as the show's news anchor in January 1994, continuing to work on Live at 5 and Today in New York. Another milestone was accomplished by Matt in 1997. After Bryant Gumbel left, he took over as the primary co-anchor of the Today Show. Working with well-known co-hosts like Ann Curry, Meredith Vieira, and Katie Couric, he helped the show maintain its top spot in morning news ratings for more than 2 decades. Matt Lauer hosted the popular program Where in the World is Matt Lauer? From 1998 to 2011. This game was inspired by the well-known game Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego. Because of this feature, he traveled all over the world. Reported from places including the Great Wall of China, the Panama Canal, Easter Island, and Bhutan. By covering important events like the Olympics and presidential campaigns, he cemented his status as a leading newscaster. Throughout his career, Matt Lauer experienced both unforgettable events and challenging interviews. When he interviewed Tom Cruise in June 2005, a dispute arose regarding postpartum depression and psychology. Matt Glib was even called. Cruise expressed his regret about the exchange later in 2008. Prince William and Prince Harry were interviewed by Matt in 2007. This interview took place 10 years after the death of their mother, Princess Diana. In the same year, he co-hosted the beloved Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, which was viewed by millions of people on NBC. Occasionally, Matt even took on the role of actor. He played himself in a live Will and Grace episode in 2006. He co-hosted an episode of Sesame Street with his daughter, Romy, later in November. He even hosted a show called The Greatest American on the Discovery Channel, where fans voted online and over the phone to determine the winner. At a pivotal point in his career, Matt received an invitation to speak at Harvard University's Class Day in 2009. He also starred in movies. He performed a role in The Beaver in 2011 and made his own appearance in Land of the Lost in 2009. A reporter was even voiced by Matt. In the animated film Curious George 2, Hark Hansen plays the role of Follow That Monkey. He established a routine for the opening ceremonies of multiple Olympic Games, carrying on Katie Couric's legacy. Summer Olympics in 2008, Winter Olympics in 2010, Summer Olympics in 2012, Winter Olympics in 2014, and Summer Olympics in 2016 were all co-hosted by Matt. However, he and Bob Costas were criticized for their remarks at the 2012 opening ceremonies, which were characterized as dull and uninformed. In 2012, Matt revealed a new deal with NBC that was allegedly worth $25 million annually and ran until 2018. Also, there were rumors that Matt was involved in co-anchor in Curry's decision to leave the Today Show, which was known internally as Operation Bambi and was attributed to executive producer Jim Bell. Matt had a new job at the Winter Olympics in 2014. When Bob Costas missed a few days of primetime due to an eye ailment, he filled in. For him, it was an important occasion. In November 2015, he had yet another significant interview. This time, he talked to Charlie Sheen, who disclosed his HIV status for the first time. It was a revolutionary discussion that attracted international notice. Matt had another difficulty in 2016. Both Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton were interviewed by him for 30 minutes each. Critiques were leveled at the interviews. The use of a private email server by Clinton was a major topic of discussion. Immediately after, he shifted to other subjects including veteran concerns and domestic terrorism. The hurried format, according to many observers, prevented in-depth responses, so Clinton's answers were deemed inadequate. Matt's failure to put adequate pressure on Trump was another topic of criticism. particularly when Trump asserted he had opposed the Iraq War from the beginning, a claim that has been strongly contested by various sources. It was a scathing critique. The interview's brief style contributed to their negative assessments, CNN later revealed. Nevertheless, they kept getting well-known interviews. Matt celebrated his 20th year on The Today Show in January 2017. In honor of his 20 years, the event featured some of his most memorable moments. He seemed to be at the height of his career, with big interviews and great prospects. However, things quickly altered significantly. A string of controversies surfaced that would permanently change his career and life. Specifically, what became to Matt Lauer? What were the repercussions? 2. Accusations of intimacy. Matt Lauer appeared to have an unbreakable career at NBC. His appearance on The Today Show was well known for more than 2 decades. He appeared to be playing at the highest level possible. He might even launch his own show, according to many. In 2017, however, everything abruptly changed. The stunning news was made by NBC on November 29, 2017. As a co-anchor of The Today Show, Matt Lauer was replaced. And why? A colleague was accused of misbehaving during the 2014 Summer Olympics in Sochi. The harassment persisted after they got back to New York, according to this co-worker. The information was unexpected. The staff was handed a memo by Andrew Lack, the chairman of NBC. According to him, it was the first time that Matt had been the subject of a complaint. For 20 years at the network. Nonetheless, they had grounds to suspect that this might not be a singular occurrence. They started an investigation. Although Matt's employment was formally terminated throughout this process, the consequences continued. Following his termination, additional women came forward. According to reports, on the same day he was fired, at least 2 additional women told their accounts. At 2001, Matt was accused of inappropriate behavior at his office by a former colleague. Following the event, she talked of feeling embarrassed and confined. The Times published this story, but she opted not to be identified. After following Matt's career, many were taken aback by these disclosures. His tenure in the public eye ended abruptly because of this pivotal moment. The Times was informed by a former Today Show producer that Matt had been making offensive comments to her ever since she began working there in the late 1990s. She related an unsettling incident from 2001. One day, Matt invited her to his office so they could talk about work. He locked the door after her when she sat down. She then obeyed his request to unbutton her top. After that, the producer claimed, Matt came up to her, undressed her, and acted inappropriately. During the event, she reportedly fainted and woke up on the floor with her panties partially down. They reportedly never talked about it again after Matt allegedly had his aide take her to the nurse. Additional unsettling allegations were made by another source. According to one source, Matt came out to a coworker and offered her sexy presents, including things with explicit notes outlining his intended usage. According to NBC, these accusations were unknown to them prior to the 2017 complaint. However, this was refuted by former news correspondent Linda Vester. According to her, many others in the network were aware of the dangers Matt posed, and management was aware of his behavior. Catch and Kill, written by Ronan Farrow in 2019, supported this claim. It includes allegations that NBC knew of Matt's actions from a number of sources. Moreover, Farrow pointed out that Harvey Weinstein used this information to pressure NBC to bury articles that would have exposed his own wrongdoing. Variety stated that by then, at least 10 accusations from both current and past co-workers had surfaced. More claims emerged in spite of NBC's efforts to control the impact, drawing extensive media coverage. In Farrow's book, one of Matt's victims was even named, and her terrifying hotel stay was detailed. Nobody could have predicted the details were so startling. Matt's indictment by Brooke Nevels. Although many women came out with charges against Matt Lauer, the most significant story was that of Brooke Nevels. Producer Nevels, who was nominated for an Emmy, had spent years at NBC. Her noteworthy endeavors, such as covering the Olympics, were well known. She majored in writing and political science when she graduated from Johns Hopkins University in 2007. Her first job at NBC was as Meredith Vieira's personal assistant and page. Her career eventually led her to become a network producer. According to Nevels' 2019 book Catch and Kill by Ronan Farrow, she was abused by Matt Lauer at the 2014 Sochi Olympics. The event, according to her, was extremely upsetting. Neville said that she was too drunk to give her consent. She said that after repeatedly declining her request for an intimate act, Lauer had pushed himself on her. The encounter was horrific. Days later, Neville's disclosed, she bled and was in pain. Her subsequent interactions with Matt, which she described as simply transactional and motivated by fear because of the power disparity, were also acknowledged. She believed that Matt's role at NBC shaped her behavior and made her feel confined. In 2017, immediately following the Harvey Weinstein affair, Neville's brought the event to the attention of NBC officials with Vieira's help. It was the claims made by Brooke Neville's that ultimately resulted in Matt Lauer's termination from NBC. She described another incident in which Matt mistreated her in Catch and Kill. She was in his office trying to find something when this occurred. At one point, she revealed, Matt urged her to produce a farewell video for her partner, who was leaving NBC for a new position, in exchange for oral intercourse. I had to pester Matt into making a farewell video because I wanted to do something kind. It made me feel sick, Neville's admitted in the book. Speaking out about what happened took a huge toll on her. She said the process of publicly addressing the assault had been both mentally and physically draining. Neville's revealed that she struggled with post-traumatic stress disorder after reporting Matt. Over the next 2 years, she tried to end her life several times. Her condition worsened, and she shared that she was hospitalized 21 times for mental health struggles and alcohol addiction. She lost 14 pounds and felt like everything she valued, including her career and goals, had been taken from her. When Matt was fired, he issued a statement admitting, "Some of what is being said is untrue or mischaracterized, but there is enough truth in these stories to make me feel embarrassed and ashamed." However, after Neville's claims were published, responded with an open letter. He said that he and Neville's had a consensual relationship that began in Sochi in 2014, but he denied that their first encounter was non-consensual. In his response letter, Matt stated, "During or after her visits to my apartment, did she ever show discomfort or object to our relationship? She even made an effort to visit me at work, where we had an intimate encounter in my dressing room. It was poor judgment on my part, but it was mutual and consensual." Neville saw Matt's response as an attempt to shame her and silence her claims. That she would not be intimidated was very evident. Neville's received criticism, but she also received encouragement from numerous survivors who were inspired by her courage. She also expressed gratitude for the expressions of support from people who had gone through similar things. After Neville's made her claims, NBC reportedly paid her a 7-figure payment, which resulted in Matt's termination. Another former co-worker, Addie Zinone, came forward a few weeks after Matt was fired. A former production assistant for Today, she acknowledged having a consensual relationship with Matt. Because she was afraid that turning him down would harm her job, she claimed it felt like an abuse of power. The beginning of a string of challenging and transformative experiences for Matt was his dismissal from NBC. Matt's allegations aftermath. Matt's termination was the beginning of a lot more issues. Immediately after his dismissal, Matt's social circle dwindled. He felt alone when some friends first reached out to him, but their support eventually waned. As his former co-host Katie Couric published her biography, Going There, he also distanced himself from some of his pals. According to an insider, Katie's book distressed him. She gave a partial critique of him and shared their private text chats. It caused him to lose faith in others. In part because of Katie's book and in part because it's difficult to face the past, he finds it uncomfortable to reconnect with former pals. As a recognized news anchor, Matt's reputation was ruined. From a popular TV personality, he became a representation of workplace wrongdoing. The public's perception of him abruptly shifted, and he was widely criticized. Inspiring others to relate their experiences of harassment and abuse, his collapse became a pivotal point in the Toward Me Too movement. As a result of this cultural change, victims of wrongdoing now have greater awareness and assistance. The charges could result in civil lawsuits or other legal issues even though Matt hasn't been charged with any crimes yet. There is still fallout, and there may be more probes in the works. Matt's personal life suffered greatly as a result of the controversy, in addition to ruining his job. His background has made the media sector reluctant to give him opportunities. It did not, however, end with his career. His already challenging circumstances were made more stressful by the scandal's repercussions in his private life. Consequently, what impact did this incident have on Matt's personal life and marriage? Ups and downs characterized Matt Lauer's personal life, particularly in his marriages. 1982 to 1989 was the length of his first marriage to TV producer Nancy Alsbaugh, which ended in divorce with no children. Not until 1997, 8 years later, did Matt go on a blind date with Dutch model Annette Roque. After 5 months, Matt proposed, and they clicked right away. On October 3, 1998, in Bridgehampton, New York, they were married. Matt was 41 at the time, and Annette was 30. Jack, Romy, and Thijs were born in 2001, 2003, and 2006, respectively, to the couple. But their marriage was anything but easy. In 2006, while expecting Thijs, Annette filed for divorce, charging Matt with mental abuse and giving her a great deal of fear, embarrassment, and emotional pain. She explained how she suffered as a result of Matt's intense rage and antagonistic actions. However, in spite of these allegations, she later retracted the divorce file, and they made an effort to get back together for the benefit of their family. Throughout their marriage, Matt was frequently accused of infidelity, yet the rumors persisted. His already strained marriage was further strained in 2016 when he vehemently denied allegations that he had an affair with Natalie Morales, his former co-anchor. Despite her desire to leave Matt for years, according to insiders, Annette stayed because of their kids. She made the decision to put their happiness ahead of her own. The couple's relationship had long-standing problems, according to sources close to them, even before Matt's misconduct scandal made headlines. Known for his charisma and reputation as a ladies' man, Matt raised accusations of adultery. Matt's career was lost due to the 2017 controversy, which only served to validate Annette's long-standing concerns. Their marriage was under too much strain in the wake of the incident. In 2018, Annette filed for divorce once more and finished the process. In September 2019, a settlement was reached by the couple, completing their divorce. Along with primary custody of their children, Annette walked away with a sizable settlement, estimated to be approximately $20 million. Continued to provide for his children and kept his visitation rights. The controversy left Matt's personal life in tatters in addition to ruining his profession. He grew lonely, lost friends, and lost trust as his reputation was irreparably ruined. Annette's departure demonstrated the extent to which his actions had impacted his family. Matt found the repercussions to be a severe reality check that affected both his personal and professional life. When Matt Lauer was fired in 2017 due to a controversy, his life took a dramatic shift. It was Matt's pledge to Annette Roque that he would change before everything fell apart. In the hopes of a change, she stayed because she wanted to believe him. But their relationship was challenging because of Matt's domineering behavior. His reputation as a perfectionist was well known, and he had high expectations for everything, even his marriage. The couple began living apart even before the scandal broke, keeping up appearances for the benefit of their kids and Matt's reputation. It was particularly difficult for Annette during the final 2 years of their marriage. The majority of the gossip, infidelity claims, and murmurs about Matt's wrongdoing were directed at her. Annette decided to spend more time out of the spotlight by March 2018. She regularly returned to her native Netherlands, where she might find some calm, with their 2 youngest children, Romy and Thijs. Their oldest son, Jack, remained in the United States and continued his education at a boarding school. They tried to keep a united front for their kids, but the harm was too great. Annette started to find public appearances intolerable. Soon, her embarrassment gave way to rage. Realizing that there was no turning back, Annette had reached her breaking point and was no longer able to fulfill the role of the devoted wife, according to family insiders. The confidence had been irreparably damaged. After years of struggle, Annette's marriage came to an end in July 2019 when she formally filed for divorce. This was the last stage in a protracted and agonizing process, not a snap decision. Along with deciding on shared custody of their kids, Matt agreed to pay Annette almost $20 million as part of their divorce settlement. Even though this cash settlement was substantial, Annette was more concerned with finding serenity and making a fresh start. Their children suffered as a result of the divorce and the controversy. Due to Matt's accusations becoming widely known, Jack, Romy, and Thijs had to cope with the emotional strain and uncomfortable interactions with friends. With everyone aware of their father's behavior, navigating social and academic circles became difficult. Over time, though, the kids have managed to adjust and restore a sense of normalcy to their lives. Isolation has characterized Matt's life since the affair. He went into hiding after being shunned by society, with a lot of friendships being lost. Although some friends initially offered support, such assistance gradually diminished. His former co-host Katie Couric delivered one of the most devastating blows when she mentioned Matt negatively in her memoir and even revealed some of their private exchanges. This made Matt feel even more betrayed and suspicious, and he became much more aloof. The public image of Matt Lauer was irreparably damaged, and his status as a once-loved news anchor was ruined. In addition to contributing to the broader discussion initiated by the Nakbektizer Me Too campaign, he became a symbol of workplace misbehavior. He hasn't been charged with any crimes, but the accusations have made him all but unhireable in the media sector. Civil litigation or other legal action may still be possible in the future. Nowadays, Matt leads a quiet life away from the limelight. Attempting to keep things somewhat normal, he spends the most of his time in his Hamptons house. He has maintained a low profile but continues to be active in his children's life, emphasizing family as a means of re-establishing what is left. His current way of living is shaped by the lingering effects of his past deeds. Matt right now. In contrast to his illustrious days as a reporter, Matt Lauer now leads a much more subdued existence when his broadcast career is over. His entire life has changed after the scandal that cost him both his reputation and his career. His life is very different now than it was before, according to sources. By either separating from his former pals or discovering that they have turned away from him, he has changed the composition of his social group. Many of the partnerships were unable to survive the impact of the scandal. The bond that Matt had with public relations executive Shaman Abbas provided him with solace and company. According to people close to them, they have been together since they began dating in 2019. Both of them have chosen to keep their romance quiet. Keeping a low profile is a conscious attempt to steer clear of unwelcome publicity because Matt is still a contentious figure. Despite his life's changes, Matt remains committed to being a father in the moment. He is still very close to his kids, Jack, Romy, and Tease. Getting them to feel supported has been his top priority. In order to spend more time in New Zealand, he sold his Hamptons home, which had previously represented his prosperous profession. This action demonstrates his desire for a quiet setting away from the public's prying eyes. Matt now considers New Zealand to be a haven because of its friendly locals and tranquil surroundings. He says he loves the people and the country's natural beauty and has a great deal of admiration for it. But since Shaman's work keeps her firmly entrenched in the US, he has no plans to relocate there permanently. Even though Matt leads a more solitary existence, he still works alongside his ex-wife, Annette Roquet, on the horse farm. Despite their past in divorce, this partnership demonstrates that they are still somewhat cooperative, particularly when it comes to their children's welfare and shared obligations. There have been indications that Matt might be engaged in new endeavors, but it's still unclear what they are. Thanks to the encouragement of his old friend Bryant Gumbel, Matt could still want to continue with some of his professional endeavors. However, at this point, it appears improbable that anyone will return to the media or public life. The scandal's long and agonizing fallout has had an impact on his personal and professional lives. Matt appears to have attempted to construct a new reality for himself, nevertheless, throughout the years. With his family and personal development as his top priorities, he is working to live a better, more tranquil life away from the spotlight. Even though Matt's public perception may never be the same as it previously was, his present trajectory demonstrates an effort to go forward, despite the difficulties that may arise.